So, MAGA lunatic and conspiracy theorist Marjorie Taylor Greene has been called out yet again, and this time was especially great because it was to her face. It happened in Congress today during a hearing. And just for some context before we look at the clip, which is so funny, this was a hearing on like China, and somehow Republicans managed to bring up Hunter Biden, and extremism was being talked about. And Marjorie Taylor Greene said, I don't think that there's any extremists in the Republican Party. I don't think that there are white supremacists or nationalists in our party. I just think that's made up by the Democrats, right? That is what she said. And that led to Maxwell Frost, the first Gen Z member of Congress, to completely call her out to her face for her hypocrisy on this issue, citing her record. And you'll see what I mean in a second. And it's just great. So we're going to look at that clip. But before we do, make sure to subscribe down below. It goes such a long way. I greatly appreciate the support. But now, here's that clip of Maxwell Frost calling out Marjorie Taylor Greene.
You asked multiple questions.
I did not ask him a question.
You certainly did. You said, did you see this?
Time has expired. Gentleladies, time's expired. Chair now recognizes Mr. Frost from Florida.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I get into it, it's interesting to hear my colleague just now talk about disavowing white supremacists when in 2022, she spoke at an event led by white supremacists and white nationalist Nick Fuentes, and when asked about it, doubled down on it and said, we're going to focus on people, not labels. So get out of here with that damn hypocrisy. And Dr.
Yeah, get out of here, Marjorie. I love that line he used at the end there. Get out of here with that hypocrisy. And seriously, what a hypocrite. I mean, to go on this rant in Congress saying, I have no idea what you're talking about, white supremacists, white nationalists in our party. I don't think that exists. And then for her to be at a conference speaking with Nick Fuentes and other white supremacists, and then openly embracing them, hugging them at this rally, please. I mean, can she stay consistent? Can she not do this for one day and have her previous actions and her current statements just constantly collide? I don't know if she's capable of that. Clearly not, right? I mean, clearly it seems to be a challenge for her. But to try to erase history like that, come on. It's 2024. We have records of this stuff, Marjorie. You're going to get caught every single time. And if you're unfamiliar with Fuentes and the conference that Maxwell Frost was talking about, well, first and foremost, here is a picture of Marjorie Taylor Greene and Nick Fuentes standing together. They're embracing each other. This was right before Marjorie Taylor Greene was about to speak and start speaking to the crowd, of which people are aligned with Nick Fuentes. And to give you some perspective on his views, I won't play the clip because you really just don't need to hear the garbage that he spews. It's so hateful and, it's just awful. Really, but here is a caption that perfectly summarizes what he was saying while introducing Marjorie Taylor Greene before she spoke. He praised Hitler. He also praised Russia, and he has a history of attacking women, attacking minorities, attacking different religions and the people who fall into those religions. So that's who he is. And Marjorie Taylor Greene was at this press conference talking to these people, hugging this individual. And as Maxwell Frost said, she doubled down. She was like, let's not focus on labels. Let's focus on people. No, it's not a label, first of all. We're not just talking about labels. We're talking about someone's hateful ideology that's real, that has an impact on people, and that hate is a bad thing. So it's not just a label, but she doubled down. And as you can see, it seems like she didn't have much of a response for what Maxwell Frost was saying, because what is she going to say? She's in these pictures with him. She's at his conferences speaking and openly embracing him and talking about how great the conference was. So now that you know who Fuentes is, how bad of a person he is, how terrible his views are, and why Maxwell Frost was absolutely right to bring this up in this conversation, it's important to note that Marjorie Taylor Greene is not the only person in the Republican Party to have embraced this guy. Here's a picture of current member of Congress, Republican Representative Paul Gosar from Arizona, far-right MAGA lunatic. Here's a fundraiser that he was hosting with Fuentes. Loved him, talked so highly of him, right? So this hateful ideology that we just discussed that Fuentes has is like embedded into the Republican Party. And people in the party are also embracing that and embracing him. And it's also incredibly important to note that it's not just members of Congress. Donald Trump himself had dinner with Fuentes and Kanye West at Mar-a-Lago. Is that not just the worst group of people in one room you've ever possibly heard? Like, is that not just the most insufferable room to be in? I couldn't imagine a worse place to be than in a room with Nick Fuentes, Donald Trump, and Kanye West. Oh my God. But the point is that Donald Trump invited him into his house, had dinner with him, was talking campaign strategy with this guy who was espousing those views. Marjorie Taylor Greene's hugging him. Paul Gosar's having fundraisers with him. It's crazy. It's embedded into the Republican Party. There are too many examples of this. Too many. And that's why Maxwell Frost doing that is so great. It's needed. We have to stay on this. We have to remember the insanity of the Republican Party. It is genuinely easy to forget. I think that we can all relate to this. It's genuinely easy to forget about every single example of the insanity of like MAGA and the modern Republican Party, because there's just so many, it's hard to keep track. Like the fact that Marjorie Taylor Greene headlined one of these guys' events, crazy. But it's easily, brushed under the rug because of all the other insane stuff she's doing on a daily basis and continues to do. But we have to stay on top of it, have to remember this. And that's why so great to see Maxwell Frost bring this up on live TV in front of Congress, in front of all these people. And the clip went incredibly viral. If this is not your first time seeing it, you probably know that. But it's everywhere on social media today. So good, and I'm glad it did spread far and wide. So anyway, aside from that, we'll wrap up the video there. No need to give any of these individuals more time than this, right? But I appreciate you watching. Make sure to subscribe down below. As I mentioned, it goes such a long way. Also, drop a like on the video, comment on the video, share it with anybody you know and anybody you think needs to see it. And as always, I hope you have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your week, and I hope to see you again soon.